Alright, today we're in custom packs and we're going to try and unify the archetypes. Now what do I mean by that? Well, I mean I want to have a team where I have a mana pet, a trumpet pet, and a strawberry pet, and they all work together to achieve the win. Now this is based on an old suggestion that someone made way back in 2023. I did make a video at the time, but that was before the existence of unicorn packs, so there was no mana. And the unification of the archetypes was between trumpets, strawberries, and toys. And the way that was accomplished was using Orca. I'll put a link to that video in the description if you want to see it. But yeah, like I said, there were no mana pets back then, and so there were only really 3 archetypes to unify. It does make me wonder if it would be possible to make a team that uses basically all of the archetype gimmicks in the game in one build, while also being synergistic. I guess that's an important caveat because it's pretty easy to make a team that has a mana pet, a trumpet pet, and a strawberry pet in it. It's when they're actually working together that makes it a bit more difficult. And you can see here that we already have our 3 pets that are going to make this team up. We've got Cali Greyhound, which is going to be the mana spender. We've got the Turaco, which is the trumpet pet, and it gives mana to the Cali Greyhound as we tie with Nick. And then I want a couple more pets to fill the squad out and give us a decent chance of actually winning here, because this isn't really the strongest squad. I think it's pretty obvious if we carry a level 2 Pi Tamarin all the way to the end. We're not exactly playing the meta. Having said that, I actually think the team that we're making here is fairly strong against your average custom pack team, because there's still a very high percentage of people that play scaling. And as you can see, Cali Greyhound, even with a small amount of mana, just absolutely decimates teams with mostly just stats. I assume Bugwagon was playing a random pack or something there. So we're going to use Bonobo in order to try and get the level 2 Anubis, which we need in order to activate Cali Greyhound. And as long as Anubis has higher attack than the Turaco, it will go first, and that will actually allow us to get 2 reps from the Greyhound. Now obviously the mana pets were kind of designed in such a way that you weren't supposed to be able to do this. In Unicorn Pack, it's very difficult to actually get a setup where your Cali Greyhound would go twice. You would have to get a mushroom randomly, I think, from Cornucopia. Or I guess maybe you could get popcorn as well and just get very lucky on the popcorn spawns. But now we're going to bring in the Winter Spirit as well. Make sure that the Greyhound always has mana at the start of battle, because the Anubis is going to take it away. So you'll see here the mana gets used up by the Anubis, and then the Turaco replaces the mana and allows the Greyhound to go again. And then the fact that the Pi Tamarin has very weak snipes doesn't really matter too much, because a lot of the time it's only going to have to hit for 1 or 2 damage to get rid of the units that have already had their health reduced. Yeah, looks like I'm going to pass up the Oblonaut. I think the only thing really now that we want is, okay, we do take it in the end. The only thing now we want is a higher level Winter Spirit. And actually here, the mana on the Pi Tamarin will give us an additional snipe. So when it faints, we actually get 3 snipes, which further increases the chances of actually clearing out opposing sides, just like we do here. No need to go for level 3 Anubis, and actually, yeah, good point, I should just buy the strawberries on the other pets, give them all a mana snipe. And of course here, because we only have the 1 trumpet pet in the Pi Tamarin, we've got the cherry on the Turaco, which is going to allow the Tamarin to snipe twice. There were some runs of this where I got quite far and then just couldn't find the cherry. Or I accidentally replaced the cherry with something else and broke the team that way. I guess we'll just take potatoes since we're not finding any more strawberries. Huge scaled up team with level 3 T-Rex and another T-Rex, plus Mongoose, Triceratops and Leech. But look at the damage that the snipes do, and it's actually a pretty comfortable win in the end. So 2 hearts still. It looks like we're going to get the partial level on the Winter Spirit. But this is basically the team. We just have to hope for good matchups, and we do find a strawberry for Anubis. Actually, Potato might be a bit better there. And then look who it matches us with. Troubadour, presumably on the achievement grind. Triple white ochre here. And then the real Velociraptor to give it back as well. I was laughing at Troubadour's video today where he was responding to Rev and the scumbag allegations. Yeah, this team pretty sweaty, I have to say. But we still tie. And I think actually I needed 1 more attack or 2 more attack on the Pied Tamarin there to get the victory. But look at that shop. Double Cali Greyhound plus a Winter Spirit in 1 turn. And then the perfect opponent. Level 2 Monkey, Cat and Hatching Chick. 2 50-50s. The Pied Tamarin follows up from the Cali Greyhound. And we very comfortably win against this massive scaling squad. Alright, what else can we do with this? This was actually a very fun team to play, and so I had quite a few games of it, even though I'd already achieved the recording that I needed. So now, I think maybe after that Troubadour match, I decided that it would be better to play Hedgehog instead of Pied Tamarin. Of course, that doesn't satisfy the condition of having a trumpet pet in the team. But at this point, since I already had the recording for the video, I was fine just mixing things up and playing some variations. So yeah, if you're planning to play something like this yourself, Hedgehog is definitely much more reliable than Tier 1 Pied Tamarin. Hedgehog also helps save lives in the early turns, where you're getting these ties against teams that the Tamarin might have struggled against. Although actually it looks like we're going to win against this team. I suppose when you get matched against Giant Tortoise, they're kind of relying pretty heavily on the health that it has. So where's the chocolate going to go here? I guess we're still going to use Turaco, so I'm going to keep... I'm going to put Strawberry on Cali Greyhound as soon as we get it. And then double Anubis in shop with the lobster buff. And I think some food dog buffs as well. Perfect round. And yeah, actually we do already have mana on the Greyhound, but we would need the mana to be applied before the Anubis activates. Whereas at the moment, the Thunderbird's a bit too slow. I think actually in this game I'm going to end up keeping the Thunderbird. Maybe we'll just end up statting it up a bit to try and fix the attack order here. But another round where the Hedgehog is going to win us the game. I think the benefit of this team is definitely that you don't really need high tier units to make it work, especially in the earlier rounds. Of course you want ultimately Winter Spirit or Sleipnir to really stack a lot of mana onto the Cali Greyhound to be able to deal with the behemoths that have gone past 50 health. But for most of the game, just taking the tier 1, 2 and 3 units is going to be more than good enough. Fringe Head team here puts a treasure chest on our side of the board, a mimic rather. And then it's Kappa for both teams. And yeah, we are just going to lose. Fun team though. So now we're just going to start buying more strawberries. I think here the reason I'm not statting up the Thunderbird is just because I expect to replace it. Although I'm pretty certain it's just going to stay. Yeah, you can see there that the Greyhound gets activated by the Anubis, but nothing happens because it doesn't have any mana. Which is interesting to see. I'm not sure I've ever done that before. We do win against Inkster. Okay, we do sell the Thunderbird. I must be thinking of a different game then. Yeah, and I think I'm freezing the Oblonaut because I want to immediately start stacking attack onto whichever pet that we find, and we find Sleipnir first. So of course Oblonaut is initially going to give it health, but then the next one will give it 5 attack, which is a big boost. So now we can get the stat reduction twice. Again, we're not quite operating at maximum efficiency here, but it still does a lot of damage to their team. It is actually Yogru, and of course we are going to struggle a little bit against the summon squad. Yeah, okay. I knew there was something strange about this lineup. I was pretty confident I didn't end up with Sleipnir in the final team. So we just immediately sell it and take Winter Spirit instead. And then look how devastating that is, where the 2 units get wiped at start of battle by the Hedgehog plus Cali Greyhound combo. Still pretty close in the end though. I'm sure you could improve this team just by putting Mushroom or Popcorn or Yggdrasil Fruit on Winter Spirit or the Tarako here. Pretty solid stats for turn 13 from Sasquatch here, but we wipe the 3 units at the back at start of battle, and then once more the Hedgehog cleans up. Not sure I'm going to get the level 2 Winter Spirit this time. Oh no, I do get it. So the Chocolate Luck continues. And then we'll just freeze the Strawberry as the last piece of equipment. But we're not going to need it because we face another scaling team. Actually fun to see someone going for level 3 on the Quail Chick. Hopefully that team actually got its achievement, because you don't see that very often. And because this team was pretty fun to play, I did record a bunch of stuff with it. We're just going to look at the best of the rest now. Here's me against Equi on turn 15. A big scaling squad, but sometimes there's just too much wide scaling for this team to deal with. We ended up losing there. But there were quite a few games like this where I was on 9 wins with a lot of hearts left. And then I faced a bunch of scaling teams in a row, and a lot of them had good defensive equipment, and I ended up losing. So here we would easily win if they didn't have Okra on virtually every unit. And then this one's kind of interesting, you know, double Behemoth in the back. And you'd think this would be a complete non-starter, like we'd have no chance at all against this team. They're going to get 50 trumpets as well. And the Markhor is going to keep scaling the Behemoths up in the back line. In fact, double Markhor. And yeah, we're actually very, very close to tying. Maybe we could have tied if I had Popcorn there on one of those units. But pretty unfortunate ending. And then against the same person again, a very similar team where they've got the setup with the Vakita and Markhor double Mushroom. So again, there's going to be 50 trumpets. But this is a rare situation where an attack tie actually makes a difference. I think I would have still lost, but there the Markhor gets to go before the Pytamarin, denying the Pytamarin a couple of knockouts. I still think they would have won though. And then just some more funny rounds from other games. This one looks like a slam dunk, you know, where we get matched with the Owl buy sell guy, but because the toilet paper replaced the Strawberry, we didn't get the second round of stat reduction from the Cali Greyhound, and we actually lose. So yeah, toilet paper level 1 still ridiculously strong. And then a couple of really fun teams here. First one, this Seagull team with Blobfish Reset. It's kind of similar to a team from a really old The Cockpit video, which sadly you can't watch anymore because it's been privated, but the Blobfish coming back to life over and over, but unfortunately we sniped the Seagull at the start of battle, so the team fell apart. Nice to see though. In the very next round, we faced this Great One, Small One team. We do kind of make a little bit of a mess of their team at the beginning, and all of our stuff apart from the Greyhound is going to get sniped. Another Small One appears, gets leveled up by the Alpaca, and still gets knocked out. And then the Great One and Small One summon at the end, and the Great One knocks its junior version out. And then we've got a couple more rounds from the end of another game, in which I ended up keeping the Thunderbird. This must have been the one I was thinking about earlier. The Greyhound absolutely ruins the Behemoth and Hydra here. The Turkey does get a couple of summons, but it's still we're still going to end up winning. So ideally here, I just wanted one more big statted opponent on the for the 9 wins to actually get the recording I needed. But unfortunately, Fritz wasn't playing ball, and he's got this bizarre-looking random team. I would assume this is a random pack. I have no idea what he would be doing here otherwise. And the Pytamaran level 3 is going to knock out the Ostrich. It was pretty close, but yeah, I really wanted the final opponent to be wall-to-wall stats, but Fritz was walking a different path.